You want to know what's really infuriating? Jacob Fatu didn't just attack Cody Rhodes, he looked straight through him like Cody was never the target to begin with. And now, he's finally broken his silence, and what he said is lighting the wrestling world on fire. Because according to Jacob Fatu, I wasn't coming for you. Let that sink in. Cody Rhodes laid out. Chaos everywhere. Drew McIntyre walking out with the win. And Fatu? He's standing there like this was all calculated, all intentional. And fans are already split down the middle. Was this a warning shot, or was Cody collateral damage? Here's the part that should make you angry. Jacob Fatu claims that Cody Rhodes just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. That this wasn't about the American nightmare at all. This was about sending a message, and Drew McIntyre just happened to benefit from it. So let me ask you right now, do you believe Jacob Fatu, or is he lying to save face? Drop your answer in the comments. Because when you rewatch the footage, it gets disturbing. Fatu doesn't hesitate. No wasted movement. No hesitation. That wasn't rage. That was precision. And Drew McIntyre? He didn't look shocked. He didn't look confused. He looked prepared. Almost like he knew the storm was coming. Coincidence? Or conspiracy? Jacob Fatu says he's not chasing championships. He's not chasing Cody's legacy. He says he's chasing impact. He wants fear. He wants chaos. He wants everyone, champions included, looking over their shoulders. And if that's true, then Cody Rhodes isn't safe. Not now. Not ever. Here's another question for you. Was this the most dangerous version of Jacob Fatu we've ever seen? Yes or no? Because attacking Cody isn't just attacking a man. It's attacking the heart of the company. It's attacking the symbol. And doing it on a night when Drew McIntyre desperately needed momentum. That changes everything. Drew didn't just win a match. He walked away protected by destruction. And that makes people furious. Fans are saying Drew didn't earn it. That Fatu handed him the victory. Others are saying Drew is smart, that aligning with chaos is how you survive at the top. So what do you think? Did Jacob Fatu help Drew McIntyre on purpose, or was it just business? Jacob Fatu's silence after the attack made things worse. No apology, no explanation, just rumors, just speculation. And now that he's spoken, somehow it's even darker. He didn't sound remorseful. He didn't sound proud. He sounded inevitable, like this was always going to happen. And here's the scariest part: if Cody wasn't the target, then who is? Because if Jacob Fatu is willing to flatten the face of the company just to prove a point, then nobody is untouchable. Not champions, not fan favorites, not legends. And that means the locker room should be terrified. Last question, and this one matters: should Cody Rhodes retaliate immediately or wait for the perfect moment? Because if history has taught us anything, it's this: when chaos walks into the ring uninvited, someone always pays the price. And judging by the look in Jacob Fatu's eyes, this story is far from over. Because now the real question isn't what Jacob Fatu did, it's what he just unleashed. Cody Rhodes didn't just get attacked, he got disrespected. Laid out without warning, without a challenge, without a reason that made sense to the fans. And that kind of humiliation? That sticks. That festers. That turns heroes into something darker. And Jacob Fatu knows that. This wasn't random violence. This wasn't an emotional outburst. This was strategic brutality, the kind that rewrites careers. Think about it: if Fatu truly wanted Cody gone, he would have finished him. He would have stood over him. He would have made sure there was no confusion. But instead, he walked away and let the internet explode. That's not weakness. That's confidence. So here's something nobody wants to admit: Jacob Fatu may have just exposed a massive flaw in Cody Rhodes' armor. Because for all the talk about heart, legacy, and destiny, Cody never saw it coming. And if you don't see it coming once, you'll never feel safe again. Let me ask you this: did this attack make Cody look vulnerable for the first time in his run? Because vulnerability is dangerous in a business that feeds on doubt. And let's talk about Drew McIntyre, because people are furious, and they should be. Drew walked out of that match with his hand raised, but the victory has an asterisk the size of a steel chair. Was he complicit? Was he warned? Or was he just smart enough to capitalize on chaos? Watch Drew's body language again. He doesn't rush. He doesn't panic. He waits. Almost like he knew exactly when the door would open. That's what's bothering fans the most. If Drew didn't plan this, he benefited from it. And in this industry, that's enough to make you a target. Does Drew McIntyre deserve the backlash he's getting? Yes or no? Because whether he likes it or not, Drew is now tied to Jacob Fatu's destruction. And if Fatu says Cody wasn't the target, then Drew might be standing closer to the crosshairs than he realizes. And here's where things get dangerous. Jacob Fatu didn't just break silence, he issued a warning. He made it clear that he's not here to play politics, climb rankings, or beg for opportunities. He's here to take space, to force his way into relevance by breaking the rules everyone else follows. That makes him unpredictable. That makes him terrifying. And that makes every top star expendable. Because if Cody Rhodes can get dropped without explanation, then nobody is safe, not Seth, not Roman, not Drew, not anyone. Who do you think Jacob Fatu is really coming for next? Say the name in the comments. Because the moment Fatu steps into a storyline, it stops being about wins and losses. It becomes about survival. And Cody knows that now. You could see it in his eyes when he came to. Not anger, calculation, not fear, realization. The realization that the game just changed, and the rules he's been playing by no longer apply. This wasn't a challenge. This was a declaration of war. And the worst part? Jacob Fatu hasn't even started talking yet. If this was him not coming for Cody, imagine what happens when he actually does. Share this video if you think this attack was the most calculated act of violence we've seen in years. And comment below, because this story is about to get ugly and Ring Rumble will be here when it does. And that's exactly why this situation refuses to cool down, because the more time passes, the clearer it becomes this wasn't chaos, this was chess. Jacob Fatu didn't rush into the spotlight. He didn't demand explanations. He let everyone else do the screaming for him. Fans, analysts, wrestlers, everyone arguing over intent while he stood back and watched the damage spread. That's power. Because now Cody Rhodes is trapped in a lose-lose situation. If he calls Fatu out immediately, he looks reactive, like the attack got under his skin. But if he waits too long, the narrative shifts. The crowd starts asking questions. The doubt creeps in, and doubt is louder than any punch. Do you think Cody waiting too long would hurt him more than the attack itself? Because make no mistake, Cody knows this wasn't just physical. This was psychological warfare. Jacob Fatu didn't break bones. He cracked certainty. And here's where things get even more unsettling. Jacob Fatu never denied helping Drew McIntyre. Read that again. He didn't apologize. He didn't clarify. He didn't distance himself from the outcome. He simply said Cody wasn't the target, which means the result. That part doesn't bother him at all. That tells us everything. Because if Drew was helped on purpose, then this wasn't interference, it was alignment. Not officially, not on paper, but strategically. And unofficial alliances are the most dangerous kind. Do you think Drew McIntyre secretly welcomes Jacob Fatu's presence? Think about Drew's history. A man who believes the system never favors him. A man who thinks chaos is the only way to level the field. Now suddenly chaos shows up and hands him momentum. That's not something you forget. But here's the twist: Jacob Fatu doesn't look like someone who stays loyal. He looks like someone who uses moments, then moves on. Which means Drew might think he's protected, when in reality, he's just next in line. Because monsters don't have friends. They have phases. And Cody might be the only one who understands that right now. Because Cody's entire career has been about earning respect the right way. Grinding, fighting, building something real. And Jacob Fatu just spat on that idea by proving one brutal truth. You don't need permission to change everything. Is Jacob Fatu exposing the flaws in how Cody operates? That's what's making people uncomfortable. Not the attack, the message behind it. That rules don't protect you. Popularity doesn't protect you. Being the face of the company doesn't protect you. Only awareness does. And Cody lost that for one moment, and paid for it. Now imagine this: what happens when Jacob Fatu decides to stop sending messages, and starts collecting consequences? What happens when he does decide to come for someone directly? Because if this was him not targeting Cody, the real target is in serious trouble. Who would shock you the most if Jacob Fatu attacked next? Drop the name. Because sooner or later, this story collides. Cody won't stay silent forever. Drew can't avoid the questions forever. And Jacob Fatu won't stay patient forever. And when all three paths cross, that's when things stop being strategic and start getting violent. This isn't over. This isn't close to over. This is just the moment everyone will look back on and say, that's when it all went wrong. Stay locked to Ring Rumble. Comment your take. Argue it out. Because the storm isn't coming anymore. It's already here.